There are celebrity relationships that get covered by entertainment media, and then there are the ones that become something else entirely, events that transcend the gossip pages and the fan accounts and the sports journalism and become instead a genuine cultural phenomenon that pulls in people who have never followed celebrity news, never watched a Chiefs game, and never attended a concert of any kind. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's relationship was that second kind, and the story of how two people at the absolute peak of their respective careers found each other, went public with one of the most watched courtships in recent American cultural history, and navigated the specific complexity of being simultaneously the most famous entertainer on the planet and one of the most decorated athletes in NFL history is genuinely fascinating in ways that neither celebrity gossip nor sports coverage alone can adequately capture. The details of their story, how it began, how it unfolded in public, what it revealed about both of them, and why it captivated audiences across demographics that have almost no other cultural overlap, are worth examining carefully, because the actual documented story is remarkable enough without any embellishment. Taylor Allison Swift was born on December 13, 1989, in West Reading, Pennsylvania, and by the time the events at the center of this story were unfolding, she had built one of the most extraordinary careers in the history of popular music. Her statistics are genuinely difficult to comprehend in their totality. She has won more Grammy Awards than any other artist in the Recording Academy's history, with 14 competitive Grammys including 4 Album of the Year awards, a record no other artist has matched. Her Eras Tour, which began in March 2023, became the first concert tour in history to gross more than $1 billion in revenue, and economic analyses of her tour's impact on local economies in cities she visited produced figures that commentators compared to the economic effect of hosting a Super Bowl. She has been named Time magazine's Person of the Year. She has appeared on the covers of virtually every major publication that puts people on covers. She is, by any reasonable measure, the most commercially successful musician of her generation and one of the most successful in the history of recorded music. Travis Michael Kelce was born on October 5, 1989, in Westlake, Ohio, and attended the University of Cincinnati before being selected by the Kansas City Chiefs in the third round of the 2013 NFL Draft. His career trajectory from that relatively modest draft position to his eventual status as the greatest tight end in NFL history is the story of exceptional physical talent combined with an unusually sophisticated understanding of his own position. He holds the NFL record for most receiving yards by a tight end, has been selected to the Pro Bowl 10 times, and won 3 Super Bowl championships with the Chiefs, in Super Bowl 54 following the 2019 season, Super Bowl 57 following the 2022 season, and Super Bowl 58 following the 2023 season, this last one occurring in February 2024. His chemistry with quarterback Patrick Mahomes produced one of the most discussed partnerships in contemporary NFL football, and his personality, outgoing, funny, willing to be self-deprecating in ways that many elite athletes are not, made him a media presence that extended well beyond the game itself. The documented origin of their connection goes back to Kelce's own public disclosure of it, which came in the summer of 2023. In an interview on his and Jason Kelce's podcast New Heights, Travis described attending the Eras Tour in Kansas City and bringing a friendship bracelet to the show in the hope of giving it to Swift after the performance, with his phone number on it. He acknowledged that she was not doing meet and greets on that tour and that the plan had not worked out. This disclosure, a celebrity athlete publicly admitting that he had tried and failed to make contact with a musician he was interested in meeting, was immediately picked up by entertainment media, and Swift's response to it, when it came, indicated that she had heard it. In July 2023, approximately a month after Kelce's podcast disclosure, reporting emerged that the two had been spending time together. The nature of early-stage celebrity relationships is that they tend to develop in relative privacy until public confirmation arrives in the form of photographs or statements, and the confirmation in this case was not long in coming. On September 24, 2023, Taylor Swift attended a Kansas City Chiefs game against the Chicago Bears at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, sitting in a suite with Kelce's mother Donna. The images of Swift at a football game spread across every platform simultaneously and generated a level of media attention that was genuinely unusual even by the standards of celebrity news coverage. What happened to NFL viewership following that appearance became one of the more discussed data points of the 2023 football season. Nielsen ratings for Chiefs games showed meaningful increases in female viewership specifically in the weeks following Swift's attendance, and sports media spent considerable time analyzing what the convergence of Swift's fanbase with the NFL's existing audience meant for both parties. The NFL itself responded to the attention with notable enthusiasm. References to Swift and Kelce appeared in NFL social media content with unusual frequency, and the league's handling of the moment was widely analyzed as a case study in how established sports properties can benefit from unexpected cultural crossover. Some longtime NFL fans expressed frustration at what they perceived as oversaturation of the Swift narrative in football coverage. Others simply watched the ratings numbers and drew their own conclusions. Swift attended multiple Chiefs games during the 2023 season, including games at Arrowhead and away games, and her presence at these events brought media attention on a scale that Arrowhead Stadium security and logistics teams had not previously managed for a football game. The sight of Taylor Swift in a stadium suite became one of the recurring visual elements of the 2023 NFL season, and the photographs of her and Kelce together after games, her in team colors, him in his game-worn jersey, circulated constantly across social media. The relationship was being documented in real time by both the traditional entertainment press and by the enormous communities of Swift fans on social media, who analyzed every public appearance with an intensity and a detail orientation that is somewhat characteristic of that particular fanbase. The public confirmation of the relationship came through the accumulation of documented public appearances rather than through any single announcement. Both Swift and Kelce made references to each other in media contexts that made the nature of their connection clear, though they were generally measured in what they said directly. Swift spoke about Kelce in a Time magazine interview published in December 2023, describing him as a very caring partner and speaking about the experience of navigating a relationship under such intense public scrutiny. She said that she had thought carefully about what she was comfortable sharing publicly and what she preferred to keep private, and that finding that balance was something they had worked on together. Kelce has similarly spoken in interviews about his relationship with Swift with a warmth that was direct without being exhaustively detailed about their private life. The Super Bowl 58 in February 2024 was the single media event of that period that most concentrated the two different audiences their relationship had brought together. The Chiefs faced the San Francisco 49ers in Las Vegas, and Swift, who was on a break from the international leg of the Eras Tour, flew from her Tokyo concert to Las Vegas to attend the game. The logistics of this trip: she performed in Tokyo, boarded a private flight, and landed in Las Vegas with hours to spare before kickoff, were reported extensively and became their own narrative thread within the broader Super Bowl coverage. She was photographed in the stadium alongside Ice Spice, Blake Lively, and other guests, and her reactions to plays during the game were broadcast multiple times during the CBS coverage of the event. When the Chiefs won in overtime on a walk-off touchdown, the cameras caught her on the field celebrating with Kelce, and the images of that moment spread across every platform simultaneously. The Eras Tour itself, which ran through 2023 and extended into 2024 and 2025 as the most financially successful concert tour in recorded history, was the backdrop against which this relationship was unfolding, and understanding the scale of what Swift was managing professionally during this period provides important context for what the relationship represented personally. The Eras Tour involved performances of approximately 3.5 hours each, multiple nights per week, in stadiums holding tens of thousands of people, across cities and countries on multiple continents. The physical and logistical demands of that undertaking are significant by any measure, and Swift was sustaining it while simultaneously navigating one of the most publicly scrutinized romantic relationships of her career. Kelce attended multiple Eras Tour concerts during the tour's run, and images of him at those shows, often with visible enthusiasm, sometimes dancing in his seat, added another dimension to the public documentation of their relationship. Jason Kelce and his wife Kylie's relationship with Taylor Swift became its own documented story within the larger one. Jason retired from professional football in March 2024 after 15 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles, and his retirement press conference, during which he gave an emotional speech that went viral, occurred during a period when his brother's relationship with Swift had made the entire Kelce family household names beyond the NFL community. Travis and Jason's New Heights podcast, which had been building a following before the Swift connection emerged, grew substantially in listenership during this period, and the brothers became frequent media subjects in their own right. Their dynamic, the older, recently retired lineman and the younger star tight end navigating their family's sudden cultural ubiquity together, generated affectionate coverage in both sports and entertainment media. The geographic complexity of a relationship between someone who lives primarily between Nashville and New York and someone whose professional life is anchored in Kansas City, with a football schedule that extends from August through at least January in successful seasons and often to February, was something both of them addressed in public comments. Swift has spoken about the logistical effort involved in being present for important moments in Kelce's professional schedule, and Kelce has described making similar efforts in relation to her tour. The image of two people at the peak of demanding careers working to prioritize their relationship despite schedules that would make this genuinely difficult has been a recurring element of how their partnership has been described by both of them. The attention their relationship attracted was not uniformly positive, and the scrutiny came from several different directions. Some NFL media and fans expressed frustration that coverage of Swift's attendance at games was consuming airtime and column inches that they felt should be devoted to football analysis. Some entertainment media commentary focused on questions about authenticity and celebrity relationship management. Taylor Swift herself addressed aspects of the scrutiny in her Time interview, speaking about the challenges of having a relationship play out publicly and about the ways in which media coverage can distort the private reality of a relationship by emphasizing moments that are visible, while the majority of what makes a relationship meaningful is invisible. She described finding it necessary to be deliberate about what she chose to share publicly and what she protected as genuinely private. The cultural commentary that their relationship generated was itself a significant part of the story. Academics and cultural critics wrote essays about what the Swift-Kelce relationship represented in terms of sports and entertainment culture, about the economic implications of the NFL's audience expansion, about the ways in which two mega-celebrities with complementary but non-overlapping fan bases created a new kind of cultural crossover event. Marketing and media analysts discussed the brand implications for both parties. Sports journalists who had never previously covered entertainment news and entertainment journalists who had never previously covered sports both found themselves writing about the same subject, often with visible unfamiliarity with the other domain's conventions and context. Among Swift's documented public statements about the relationship, several stand out for what they reveal about her perspective on its significance. In interviews, she has described Kelce as someone who creates a protective environment around her in social situations that she finds genuinely overwhelming, large gatherings with many unfamiliar people, and has spoken about his specific quality of attentiveness to how she is experiencing situations rather than simply how things look from the outside. She has described him as funny in ways that she genuinely finds funny, rather than in the performative way that people sometimes describe the humor of partners they are publicly praising. These specific descriptions carry a different quality from the generic relationship positivity that public figures often produce in interview contexts, and they have been noted by commentators as suggesting genuine rather than managed feeling. Kelce's public statements about Swift have similarly demonstrated a quality of specificity that distinguishes them from celebrity boilerplate. He has spoken about the experience of attending the Eras tour performances not simply as a supportive partner activity but as something he found genuinely moving and impressive, describing the scale of what she does in concert in terms that reflect someone watching it with fresh eyes. He has described being aware of and admiring the specific work ethic and professional discipline that the Eras tour required, having himself spent a career operating under the demands of professional athletics that produce some understanding of sustained elite performance. He has spoken about the relationship in terms that center the person rather than the celebrity, about qualities he values in Swift as someone he is building a life with rather than as a famous person he is associated with. The engagement, which Travis Kelce announced publicly in August 2025 with a post that referenced their respective professional identities in characteristically self-aware terms, produced media coverage that reflected the scale of public investment in the relationship that had been building since the fall of 2023. 2 years of documented public appearances, interviews, game attendances, concert appearances, and the accumulation of images and statements that constituted the public record of their relationship had built an audience that was genuinely invested in whatever came next. The specific details of where and exactly how the proposal occurred have not been fully confirmed in verified public sources as of my knowledge, but the engagement itself was publicly confirmed through their joint announcement. What their relationship represents in the broader cultural context is worth reflecting on, because its significance goes beyond the entertainment value of two famous people being together. They represent the intersection of two of the most commercially successful entertainment industries in America, professional football and popular music, and the specific demographics of their respective audiences have very limited overlap in most contexts. The convergence of those audiences around their relationship produced something genuinely unusual, a shared cultural reference point for people who have almost nothing else in common culturally, a story that older sports fans and teenage music fans and everyone in between followed with genuine interest. This kind of shared cultural moment is increasingly rare in an era of highly fragmented media consumption, and the fact that this relationship produced one says something interesting about the specific combination of personalities involved and the specific moment in which it unfolded. The authentic story of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, how they found each other, how they have navigated the specific challenges of a relationship at their level of public visibility, and what the public documentation of their partnership has revealed about who each of them is compelling precisely because it does not require embellishment. Two people at the absolute peak of careers they have spent their entire adult lives building chose each other at a moment when their cultural prominence made the choice more complicated rather than easier, and they have managed the enormous public attention their relationship generated with a combination of transparency and genuine privacy protection that reflects both their personalities and their clearly deliberate thinking about what they want to share with the world and what they want to keep. The result is one of the most genuinely interesting celebrity relationships in recent American cultural history, documented in extraordinary detail and still unfolding.